Department of Public Parks, regular board meeting for the date of Wednesday, July 10th, 2019 at 10 a.m. is now in session. Let the record reflect that there was no executive session held, therefore no need for certification. Roll call.
Commissioner Juanita Jackson,
Yes.
Commissioner Renee Patterson,
Present.
and President Dwight Parker.
Here, we do have enough members, we have a quorum. We'll now have our pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I will direct your attention to the minutes for the date of June 12, 2019. And I will entertain a motion for acceptance of the minutes.
Second.
Roll call.
Oh, I'm sorry. Commissioner Jackson,
Yes.
Commissioner Patterson,
Yes.
and President Gardner.
Yes.
Those 3 yes, none opposed.
Takes us to our payroll expenditures.
If I could.
Yes, please.
There's no reflection on this one, but on our June 12th report, there was an employee that was shown that had 88 hours, which would indicate that it was 8 hours of overtime. And I thought something looked funny about it, and I confirmed it with the payroll clerk afterwards, and that person did not work overtime on that particular report. It was not reflected in the salary, it was just that it was an error to the total number of hours worked. So I just wanted to make that correction for the last report that we had, not this one.
Okay, I do have, on the beach report, I have an 86 hours and a 93 hours.
All for the lifeguards. Yes.
Okay.
And then there is one other employee who worked on the first page, worked 4 hours of overtime. He helped to clear the boat launch for us on Saturday.
And I will entertain a motion that we would approve the payroll as presented.
So moved.
Roll call?
Commissioner Jackson,
Yes.
Commissioner Patterson.
Yes.
President Gardner.
Yes.
3 yes, none opposed.
Takes us to our legal report.
You just have one professional service contract before the board today. It's for the Arch Group, and it's really an amendment for supplemental design services for Howard Park improvement. And it's not to exceed the sum of $15,000, commence on July 1st and end on July 30th, 2019.
I will entertain a motion that we would approve the contract for services with the Arch Group not to exceed $15,000.
So moved.
Roll call?
President Gardner, if I could, just so the public's aware, this is not coming out of the Parks Fund. This
Right.
is coming out of the Howard Park funding that we're getting from the county.
Okay.
Okay. Do we have a update on how that's going?
Sure.
Will you be providing? Okay, great.
Ready for roll call?
Yes.
Okay. Commissioner Jackson,
Yes.
Commissioner Patterson.
Yes.
President Gardner.
Yes.
3 yes, none opposed.
All right, that takes us to administrative reports. Marquette Park.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Couple things. So on the 4th of July, we had a young lady to run into the control box for the fountain across the street at the playground. It's totally destroyed, smashed it, water was ran all over the place. The water department did come out and turn it off, so we have to get that fixed. And Linda Fisher from the Marquette Park Playground Committee, she has agreed to help us get that done. So I'll be, excuse me, over the next couple of weeks or so, I'll be trying to find out some prices to replace that control box. And I did give you all a picture so you can see what it looked like after the fact. Don't have a before picture, but I did get one after. We tried to cover it up and put the caution tape up so no one would go that space. And 4th of July.
Let me ask you a question. Was there a report made, police report made?
Yes, yes.
So,
yes.
and did the person have insurance or?
No. No insurance and no license.
But it does not mean that they can't still be held responsible.
Correct.
Okay, all right.
You have to pretty much damage their car pretty bad to
Yeah.
do this
The
kind of
bumper
damage.
part,
Okay.
yeah. They
So
got
we
her.
did get all the proper information to the
Yes,
police department?
yes, they call her, right around the block.
Oh,
So,
great. All right.
They did catch her. We are happy to report that Tuesday, June the 25th, the boys went in. So the community is very happy about that, and so are we. We're not getting those phone calls anymore. Marquette would like to thank each and every individual or group that volunteer their assistance in helping to maintain the park and the beach. It is something that has to be done daily. And myself and Assistant Kiana, we make sure we get out there and help pick up trash and everything as well. So we just want to say thank you to everyone that come out and help us. The drive-in movies in the park will be back Friday, July the 26th, I'm sorry. Avengers The Endgame will be the featured movie. 2 times in the last 4 months, Marquette Park Pavilion has made the newspaper for some positive, family-friendly news. The first, of course, was the Superhero and Princess Brunch, and this Saturday, July the 13th, Marquette will host our first food truck block fest from 2 to 8 p.m. We have food trucks, vendors, a live band, 3 DJs, a bouncy house station for the children, a beer garden for the adults, and it will be a lot of fun and relaxation. And I just ask that if you all are not busy, to come out and join us on this Saturday. We've been getting a lot of good feedback, so we are preparing for that big day.
Okay, great. Just one question here on the movie. What is it? How is it priced? Is it per car?
Yes, so it's $10 per car and $15 per truck
Okay.
to park their car, and it's a drive-in theater. So you park in the lot and big screens out there and you watch the movie.
And you tune in on your radio with the car?
Yes, to the radio station,
Okay,
yes.
great. All right.
Yes.
Any questions from board members?
I had a question about the fest is coming up this Saturday. That's gonna be at the Marquette Park Pavilion area?
That's correct, right
Okay.
in front of the facility in that driveway.
Okay.
In the
Okay.
driveway.
Okay, very
So
good.
the first thought was to do it in a large parking lot, but I didn't think that it would get this attention. So I, moved it to the front of the facility. So
Okay.
maybe next year we'll move over there.
Okay. And then the other question I had, how is the carry-in, carry-out going?
On the shoreline,
On the shoreline.
it's okay. It could be better.
Because I've heard a few
Yeah.
complaints
Yeah,
about it.
it definitely could be better.
Okay.
So here's the interesting thing about that. And I went through this discussion with folks last year because we always have this thing about signage. We gotta have signs out. I gotta have signs out. And it seems as if we have signs out this year where people are adhering to the policy less than they did last year. So it's a strange thing. But I do have to say, regardless of how folks feel about it, it's better than what was there 2 years ago, when you had overrun cans and seagulls getting into it and bees and hornets all around. It's better than the alternative. So we're just gonna keep plugging ahead. There's always gonna be tweaks that we can make in order to improve it, but it's not something I'm looking to give up on. We just need people to remove what they bring in.
Let me ask a question. Could we perhaps supply our ticket takers with flyers? I mean, so,
Carry in, carry out flyers?
We had thought about, so we had toyed around with the idea last year, but then you find them littered around the park.
Okay.
The flyers themselves littered around the park. The one thing, and I forgot to ask this, like, I know last year, the recycling department had given us those small
They didn't have
bags.
any available this year.
Okay, you already
To
checked.
give us.
So we're not even giving them bags?
And the bags we were giving them were very small.
They were small.
let me ask this question.
Plastic.
Yeah.
Are there carry out signage at the ticket taking locations?
Yes.
Okay.
There's one at the entrance, so right when you, at the very beginning entrance of the park. There's one there's one by the pay station, the first pay station on Marquette Drive. There's another one by the first parking lot by the concession stand. There's one by the Dome. There are two on the way to the first Marquette lot. And then there's one that's in the Lake Street line, booth itself.
Okay. Final question, because I'm just kind of spinning here. What about going and buying a couple of cases of large kitchen bags, on the road and give them to the ticket takers at their locations, and when people come to get their tickets, like, we had a carry in, carry out policy, we want to make it easy for you, so we're giving everybody a trash bag. All we ask is that you put your stuff in and bring it out to the front.
I wouldn't be opposed to that.
Then let's do that.
That's a great idea.
Let's do that. So,
Yeah.
two things then. Would all of our ticket takers need to be notified that part of their responsibility is to inform the public of our carry-in, carry-out policy? So we're saying it to everybody who comes to park, and we're going to give you
Complimentary bag.
we're going to give you a complimentary bag to help you do it. All right, so we're going to make that happen like yesterday.
We can make that happen today.
Hey, all right.
So,
Okay.
How often do they when there is trash on the beach, do they pick it up daily?
Yes, I have
Okay.
a
Okay.
maintenance worker a part-time maintenance worker that's out there daily.
Okay.
And then we have,
Well, not just him by himself though,
no,
right?
no, we have two groundskeepers that I've had our foreman assigned to the shoreline daily. And then also, before the lifeguards usually get started, because unfortunately what we're finding a lot, the lifeguard stands is where you'll find a lot of garbage. Because at the end of the night, that's where a lot of people post up, and they'll sit out there all night and they'll drink and they'll smoke and do whatever else. So you'll find cigarette butts, beer cans, liquor bottles all around the lifeguard stands. So unfortunately for the lifeguards, before they even get started, they kind of have to clean up around them, and then they just kind of keep the bags close by, and then one of our staff will come and get it.
Are we doing after-hour beach patrols as it relates to security, law enforcement? How is that going?
I'm trying to think how much I want to tell you.
Okay, we'll just.
I'll just say yes.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
won't describe what it is, but
Okay.
I'll just say yes.
Okay, yes is enough of an answer for the moment. Okay. All right. Okay, anything else? Oh, let me ask this question. Is anybody going to the beach?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they
Yes.
are.
Yes.
Yes.
Our beaches are packed?
Yes, they are.
We have lots of people?
Yes. We do.
The weather's finally turning.
Yes.
And just think, compared to other areas like Chicago,
Yeah, we are.
our beaches are wide open spaces.
Yes.
I'm actually making a commercial here.
And only $7 per.
Only $7 to park
That is correct.
and only
All day.
all day.
All day, right.
And there is room.
Yes.
So come on out and
Plenty.
enjoy the Gary Beach. Great job. Thank you. Great job.
Thank you.
Hawkins. Okay, so earlier this year, we had a young lady, Jackie Kuti, to book the facility for engagement party. A week later, she had to cancel it because the couple couldn't make it. So she is asking for a refund for that money back. And in our contract, she will be allowed that refund.
Okay.
So,
As long as we're following our policy?
Yes.
I don't have any issue.
Board approval to issue a check.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion that we would, according to our published policy, that we would honor the request of
$500.
$500 to,
Jaquise Kuti.
okay, to Jaquise Kuti.
So moved.
Roll call?
Commissioner Jackson,
Yes.
Commissioner Patterson,
Yes.
and President Gardner.
Yes.
3 yes, none opposed. Dr. Smith, Hudson County.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning. Just a few, I wasn't aware that Mrs. Lee was putting the package together. Step back from me. I have a few, not issues, but some conversations that I've had with some of the members with regards to the times that we have prior to closing. We are open 7 days a week, of course. So Monday through Friday, we're open from 6 a.m. until 9 p.m. at night. So some of the concerns that a select few of our members have is that we only have one maintenance person at night, Wednesday through Friday, and then Monday and Tuesday, because they're on two separate shifts. And so the concerns are right before closing, the locker rooms, they're not completely shut down, but the showers and the sauna and the steam room, they have to be shut down at a certain time so it would allow maintenance enough time to get in and clean. And so with the youth being here, some of them, they do wait on rides, some of them do not. And so if we close at 9 o'clock, the lights our maintenance people, they turn the lights off at maybe like 10 minutes to 9, Monday through Friday. On Saturday and Sunday, they may shut the lights off at about 12:45 on the courts downstairs and upstairs. The locker rooms are pretty much shut down at about maybe 15 minutes to closing. Reason for that is because to allow for them to get in and clean, because if not, it will allow members to stay in until the actual closing, and we have a significant amount of people staying over the closing time, and then we're still trying to sweep the building and get members out. We don't know, members or those that are coming in to purchase day passes. And so I just wanted to address that, because we do have some people, whether they're members or not, we do have people that come in and they purchase day passes, and some of the concerns have been, why the locker rooms are shut down, like maybe 15 minutes before closing, and we have had to explain to them it's because we have to go in for the general maintenance. The sauna automatically shuts down at 8:30 during the week because it's on a timer, but the steam room they have to go in and they have to adequately clean the locker rooms, because we have one person that cleans the women's and we have another person that cleans the men's, and then we have to make sure that the building is, that everyone is out of the building so that the courts and everything can be maintained. So there is a reason for that, so I just wanted to address that, because some people have had concerns with the lights being shut off at a certain time right before closing and the locker rooms being shut down. So that's the reason for that. Con will be in the building today for servicing our elevator. The elevator has been making some type of strange noises. I have gotten on the elevator myself, and it feels strange riding up and down, and it is kind of loud. So it was initially brought to my attention by one of the members And then superintendent and I spoke about it, and then I got on it because I never take the elevator. As a matter of fact, I only rode it that one time when they addressed it, they could feel that it was maybe something, not right about the elevator. So, Cone Servicing, has agreed they will have someone here today. They did give us a window between 8 and 12, and they're gonna have someone to come out and inspect the elevator, just to make sure that everything is okay, or if there's any further maintenance, that's required. So I just wanted to address that. The previous meeting, the last meeting that we had, President Gardner, you asked for a snapshot of the revenue. So what I did was I went back for the last 3 quarters and did a comparison. We are down as far as revenue as far as the summer months. As you can see, I started back from October through December, which was the last quarter in 2018, and then on to January to March, which was the first quarter in 2019, I'm sorry, and then April through June is the quarter that we just ended. And so what I've discovered is, especially with our youth, because a large amount of our people that come in are our youth, we had a significant amount of people that utilized the facility during the winter months. Polar vortex, when we were open, it was 35, 40 degrees below freezing. We were packed. And now it's warm outside. I can count, the youth that come in. I really can. I can count them actually on one hand. And so being that this is my first summer here in this assignment, I am seeing a significantly low number of attendance. And so some of the youth that I hadn't, I've been able to have conversations with, a lot of them, they're going other places, i.e. significantly with, you all were just discussing the beach. So a lot of students are at the beach, a lot of adults are at the beach, they're playing basketball outside. There are other places that they can go that they've shared where they don't have to pay a fee to get in. And so all of that is significantly playing a factor. We do have some youth that still come in, but it's nothing like right before this quarter. So our biggest peak was during the first quarter of 2019, January through March. We were significantly up with memberships, day passes, room rentals, and even with our batting cages. So now we have, mostly it's just our members that come in, and like I said, I can really count those students that are coming in, and a lot of them do not have memberships, they purchase day passes. And so even as for the lunches, I had requested 25 lunches initially because I was anticipating that we would get more youth because, historically that's how it's been. Well, that's how we were trending during the winter months. But I probably won't need as many lunches because I requested 25, I give away maybe half of that, And then if they come back during the evening, then we'll give them another lunch. But the revenue is significantly down, and for the conversations that I've had to share with parents and students and even some of the members, it definitely could do with the weather changing.
I think if we went back and evaluated it over a number of years, we would discover that it's cyclical. That summertime, people prefer to be outdoors, even to play outdoors. I passed Tolleson yesterday, just about dusk. It was maybe, and it was packed. Tolleson was packed. I mean, every court, and it was well behaved. Because I actually pulled over and sat for a minute and watched. And every court, the place was packed. Every court, there were kids playing, and it was exactly how I wanted it to be. And so outdoors is that time of year, and I think we just discovered that that's a cyclical thing. And when we go back to kids go back to school. And you're in school all day, and after school in the evenings, on the weekends, that whole thing will pick up, even in terms of adults and their work indoors. So all that's going to change. So, all right. But thank you for the information.
I just wanted to say, I agree with Reverend Gardner, because that's, as a parent, I wanted my kids outdoors.
Yes.
So, but what I was going to say. Have you, what do you have in place to push membership? because that is what's gonna drive the revenue, whatever thrust you have to push yearly membership. Because we want the members, not the day pass people
Yes.
anyway.
Yes.
So, because that's gonna give you your bump in revenue. So how are we selling that? As
Yes.
far as the membership, with the improvements we've had, and, you know, that's what you wanna focus on. You know, generating more members, steady members,
Yes.
okay?
So along with the facelift then, which is what we've got, you just made a significant investment. And I believe that's pretty close to being complete, is it not, in terms of
Yeah.
the building and all that? Then we probably need to look toward a relaunch for no later than September.
Grand opening, grand opening,
Say again?
a grand
Grand.
opening perhaps?
Yeah, a new grand opening with some flyers and say, hey, you know, don't lose what you gained in terms of you put work in this summer and, you know, here's an opportunity to keep it going. So you may want to pull together a little committee, some marketing, and let's see what we can come up with.
And then our marketing could be focused with not only our schools, but also our churches, and then our AARP members.
Yes.
Because that's who's gonna be
Yes.
interested.
Yes, so to your point, Ms. Patterson, a lot of our members that I can see that are steady are our silver sneakers. So they come in irregardless of what the weather is. Ms. Glenda, who is our senior coordinator, like today, for example, she's having the chair yoga. So her classes are held Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. They're all held at the same time at 10 o'clock. So our seniors, they're committed, for what I have observed, all year round. They're here. They're here when it's cold. They're here when it's warm. They're here now. So they have the tendency to utilize the facility more than others, because of silver sneakers too, of course. And so that's the trend that I've been seeing. But as far as memberships are concerned, I do agree to your point. What I have found out, because I've had conversations with some members do have multiple memberships, and some members have asked with their membership, because they do compare, and they're shopping. And so a lot of the questions are, if I come, can we bring guests free of charge? Because, you know, we go so-and-so, we can bring a guest. And so the response has to be, you're more than welcome to bring someone. If they do not care to get a membership, then they have to purchase a day pass. So, you know, if we can look into some perks like that, then maybe that can go along with, especially because we do have members that, you know, they religiously, they pay. We don't have to ask them to make their payments. They come in and they pay on a monthly basis. And as for some of the other members, again, when it's the summertime, with the system that's currently set up, that's in place, it's a newer system, it automatically populates, and it's going to charge, if you have a membership, it's going to charge every month, because that's how the system is set up. So some of the members during the summer months, they'll go outside and run. And then they'll say, you know, can you freeze my account? I'll be back in the fall, later part of September. And so a lot of them, they have memberships, but they go outside and they walk and they run. And so a lot of them are asking, you know, if I bring someone, can I bring a guest? Can they get in for free?
And what is our policy there?
We don't,
No, we don't compete, because I mean,
No.
other areas.
They do that.
They do allow that.
They do.
So have we looked at that possibility?
It's something that, so oftentimes when you compare our facility to other facilities, it's really like, most of the time they're talking about like Charter and Planet Fitness. They don't have anywhere near the amount of amenities that we have. You know, locker rooms, saunas, steam rooms, tennis courts, basketball courts, all those things. Charter and Planet Fitness, they serve certain clientele and who are mostly interested in just specifically cardio equipment. And so there's cardio and workout equipment, but you can't have access to racquetball room, all those other things. So when people make those comparisons, you have to make the comparisons, you have to compare apples to apples. To me, our nearest competitor is probably, it's not the Omni anymore, it's St. Franciscan, whatever they're called now. That's our nearest one. But they're way more expensive than we are. They're probably double what we are. to be a member there. Now, they have some more amenities than we do, but they're almost double. And so I don't see the comparisons being an accurate comparison. We compare us to like Planet Fitness and Charter and all
Okay.
Okay, well, just keep an open mind.
Yeah, sure.
You know, because you want to grow your membership.
Sure.
So if this is something that they're asking for, giving them a day or two pass, will that really hurt revenue to the extent, or will it grow revenue? So I'm just saying, you want to look at all options.
Yeah.
But I understand what you're saying as well.
We
Okay?
also don't want to get into things where we're through the back door giving the 2-for-1.
That's true,
Right?
that's true.
So every, you know, you sign up, you pay every month, but
Right.
you bring your buddy,
Yeah.
and so it winds up being a 2-for-1,
Yeah.
and we're actually losing the possibility of revenue. So,
Mm-hmm.
gotta look at it in
It's
different
important for
ways.
us to know what our market value is.
Right,
Stick to
and then
that.
that requires more record
Exactly.
keeping as well. You
So
gotta
you gotta
be
stick
really
to it.
organized to
So,
do
so
something. like
even if we were going to do a guest, I would put a cap on
Mhm.
with a number of, you know, you get to bring, you know, so if you got a guest, you get to bring a guest once a month.
Yeah.
You know, that type of thing. And so that's, because if not, then, you know, every week that I go, it's just like me and my buddy go together, we split the cost of the,
Yep, exactly.
you know, and 2-for-1. And so, yeah, we gotta weigh it out.
And to your point, Reverend Gardner, we've had some members that come in, for example, if they have family members that are visiting from out of town,
Mhm.
and they're only here for a short period of time, during the holiday season, they want to come in and work out, but the other family member doesn't have a membership, and I see on most cases, then that's when they ask if it's appropriate for them to bring a guest.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just had one more question
Yes.
with that shutdown of the lights.
Yes.
Now, no one's, it's not automatically shut down. You let everybody know when you
Yes,
shut
it's-
it down, right?
Yes, so this is how our maintenance do it. With the shutting down of the lights, it's the basketball courts.
It's the play, it's
Yeah.
the action.
Okay, I was
Yes.
like, okay.
No, not the entire building.
Okay, that's
I'm sorry, I just want to make myself
How
clear.
you know nobody in it?
No.
Okay, that's fine, because that makes sense.
Yes.
Okay.
And the reason for that is, and it's kind of comical, because even when you shut the lights off on both of the main basketball courts, our kids, they'll turn their lights on their phones and they'll keep shooting. And so we have to do, because they know that the lights go off at a certain time, but what happens is at about, say for example on the weekends, we close at 1 o'clock. So at about 12:30, as a warning, they'll flick the lights. So they know within the next 15 minutes, the lights are gonna be completely shut off. And we just do that because if not, they'll continuously stay on the court. They know they have to be out by 1. That's the only way that we can clear the courts.
Okay, very
Yeah.
good. Thank
So
you.
my apologies.
Aquatics?
Christina's
Thank you.
not here.
Thank you.
Okay.
But for a very good reason. So I wanna lay out a little bit of what we've done and what we've had to do to get to where we are today. And so, I think we've had these discussions in our meetings. We haven't had access to our plumber that we've had on an annual basis since December. And so, you know, we made the recommendation and the board approved us to contract out with, and I shot them out, agent plumber to assist us with the opening of the pools and the splash pads. But throughout that process, we have learned a tremendous amount that we did not know. Basically, a lot of the way our plumbing is set up, it's set up so only one person kind of knows it, and the plumber. And so we've kind of had to learn our pool systems, each of us. Reverend Gardner, you asked us to, I think at probably the prior meeting, to kind of put together like an operations manual for our pools, so we would know, like from A to Z, what we needed to do. And it's something that we don't have any choice. You made the suggestion, the recommendation, but actually throughout the course of us doing this, because we didn't have access to the people who usually work on our pool, we've had to do this anyway. So that's in the process. We've made notes of what we have to do at each location. But, you know, to the people of Gary, just know we don't have anybody assigned to do this on an annual basis. Like We don't have anybody assigned in our budget to do this. So this takes a lot of work, a lot of effort, a lot of energy, and a lot of finding people who just really just care for our city enough to be able to help us out along the way. And it wouldn't have been possible for us to do without those people. We've had a retired electrician and a retired machinist who have assisted us. We're on contract with AJ the plumber, but they've gone above and beyond. Christine, and we have 2 other crew members, seasonal crew members, who are working religiously and exhaustively to get this done. So the pool is opening at Tolliston today, and the hours will be Wednesday through Sunday from 12 to 6. And we will offer free swim lessons at Tolliston, Wednesdays and Thursdays at 11 and 5:30, and that's for ages 5 and up. And when I say 5 and up, it's 5 and up. So if you have an adult who doesn't know how to swim, we'll teach you and help you learn how to swim. What we find out is, on a lot of occasions, if the parents learn how to swim, the kids will likely be more willing to learn how to swim as well. And so it's a win for us all around, and as far as safety is concerned. But that's what Christine is at now. She's at Tolliston, getting the pool open. We open in about an hour. Really excited. I think we got the slide together, and that took a tremendous amount of work as well. Even up until maybe yesterday, we had a tremendous amount of work that we had to do. I think I stood before you all last year and I said, we know a lot more than we did in prior years. Well, we know a tremendous lot more now than we did last year. And it's only benefiting us, and hopefully it'll translate into benefiting the citizens of Gary. So I want to caution everybody about the slide, though, because not that there's anything wrong with it, but we haven't run it continually in years. And so, we're kind of anticipating that there may be a hiccup along the way. It's kind of like a car. You let a car sit for a while, and you never run it, and then you decide to run it.
So
things just break down.
did the original pumps, or in terms of the water pumps, have they been refurbished?
Yeah, we took the steps of, at the end of the season last year, we took them to get them serviced, just kind of worked out, greased, all that stuff, from a local machinist that we use. So we're fine on that end.
Okay.
It's just that we haven't run it continually over years.
Gotcha.
And so we don't know what we don't know. And so we're just hopefully, we're gonna be optimistic that it's gonna be okay, but we don't know what we don't know. And if it doesn't work out, then we'll just keep working and we'll keep grinding until we get it there.
Absolutely.
But it's just, it's been a long, drawn-out process. Christine and her crew have just given a tremendous amount of energy and effort into making sure that this goes off smoothly. So we're excited, but also a little nervous, a good nervous about where we are. And so we're welcoming everybody out to the pool. Roosevelt's pool. Again, it was one of those things where it was some things we didn't know that we now know, some parts that had to be replaced that had been in place for years and just broke down, and so we continually just had to go replace them. But we think Roosevelt will be online tomorrow. That's our anticipation. So that's more of the toddler pool, so people with younger kids can go there. Reed Splash Pad has been up and running for weeks. So that one is fine. We're fine on Reed. Buffington Splash Pad needs to be rotted out. The water doesn't drain as fast as it should. So we need to rot Buffington Splash Pad. So AJ the plumber, their plumbers they didn't have the equipment to do it. They actually had to call somebody else out to come and do it. So we're waiting on that to be done. But that's pretty much Christine's report. That's why she's not here today. we're really excited about where we are, and we're hoping things keep trending upwards.
Okay. Let me make a suggestion as we move into the future. With all that we have in terms of the number of parks, the number of locations, the number of pools, splash pads, pavilions that we have, it is almost impossible to function at a high level without dedicated services. We need to ask for appropriations in our budget to have a plumber, an electrician, a carpenter, and a helper as a team that are hired and totally dedicated to the parks department, right? And so they would go out together. They were crew, and you were still had boilermaker. You had a boilermaker. You had a welder, and you had a burner, and they were a three-man crew that performed functions in different areas. We need something similar to that as it relates, and there's enough work.
Absolutely.
And there's enough that needs to be done where we could keep them, on a 40-hour week for a whole year, and we need that, and they need to be dedicated only to the park department. And so let's do some investigation to see what the market rate is in terms of salary structure, and we're going to make that request so that we have that crew that can do the things that we need.
That's all for the aquatics.
Okay, great.
Not me. Just aquatics. Oh, for aquatics. All right, Don, you're up.
Just because I finally get to say, we are open. All doors is open, 9 holes are open. Situation with the pump station is, we had some dealings with NIPSCO. The power is now on. The electrician was out there this morning when I left. When he gets his wiring completed, the pump people will go in, all the pumps are in and that stuff. Everything just has to be wired up. We're hoping in the next couple of days or early next week we can run the whole test on the whole system and that, and see what we have. I mean, it's gonna be fine. It's just when you turn the water on, we get to see if there's any broken pipes or anything like that. So.
I drove by a couple of days ago. It doesn't look manicured. What's going on with the how we're taking care of the 9 holes? Because I couldn't tell when I drove
Well,
by.
right now I have one mower,
Okay.
and that's it for 80 acres.
Are the others, are they broken down?
The park departments, they've borrowed a couple of our mowers because they have 4 or 5 pieces of equipment down.
You have a weed whacker?
No.
Didn't we purchase
4
equipment?
more? I thought it was 4.
Yeah,
for
it's
parks.
broken. Everything is broken down. And so everything is with vehicle maintenance right now.
I end up bringing my stuff from home to get that stuff done.
So we're actually, for your question, for like the weed whackers and stuff, we're looking to make a purchase from Ace. Ace is the commercial steel department. So I'm just waiting on the estimate from Ace to be able to assist with that. But yeah, we're in bad shape as far as equipment is concerned with the breakdown of equipment. So we're constantly sharing folks and sharing equipment.
So we don't have dedicated equipment to the golf course?
Yes, but certain equipment can only do certain things. So like your general maintenance and that, when you're looking at zero-turn mowers, the mowers that we use with the park department, and that we just have one. And that's the majority of our cutting, you know, I mean, I have a greens mower that, you know, we cut greens with the 9-hole greens with or whatever. That takes 4 hours a day just to cut the greens. I have another mower that does the fairways because it can cut at 1 inch. The rest of the property, you know, out of the 60 or 70 acres that we mow now with the backside being closed, 2.5 are greens and probably 10 or 15 are fairways acres. The other 70 is where you just mow. You know, it's not a specialty mower.
Okay.
And also around the whole facility. That's the same type of mower, and you know, unfortunately, this has been a bad year for them breaking down with the parks and things like that.
But you're open, so that's good.
Well,
And I'll get it in shape, you know, I mean, it's just now, especially, you know, it seems like we went from 100 or 50 degrees to 100 degrees, you know, in the blink of an eye.
Now we need rain.
We do need it. I hate to say that. But the other thing is the grass won't grow as fast, so you can catch up. This is when you catch up, you know, so.
You have any projected numbers of revenue that you think?
You know what, I have to get to the Crusader and the local radio station just to announce that we're open. Other than that, I'm relying on like the members. The only golf publication in this area shut down this year. It's not there. It was called, I don't know, Golf something, but it's no longer in existence. So what I'm relying on is the members that are there when they play the other, you know, they've obviously been going to other courses this spring, word of mouth that says, hey, we're open again. So.
And on social media page.
Mhm.
right. Thank you. And thank you for your work.
Youth Services Bureau. So, Lori is back.
Oh, Lori Latham?
Lori Latham is
Okay,
back.
okay.
Temporarily serving in the role of the Youth Services Bureau. We really needed somebody to assist with summer feeding and summer recreation. And it was good just to have somebody with some familiarity, not only with our systems, but the department and contacts. And so she's been a huge help throughout the summer. She's not here because she's at Brunswick. So we have 3 sites, Glen Ryan, Brunswick, and Reed. Out of those 3, Glen Ryan probably has the best attended, has the best attendance of the 3. So our recreation leader at Brunswick went back to school early, so Lori is filling in that role until we can hire somebody else in that role. But she stepped in, rolled her sleeves up. She knows how to do everything, took a load off of me, freed me up to be able to do other things. They do have some scheduled field trips. I know there is a scheduled field trip this Friday to Faith Farms. And so they'll be visiting there. And then the hope is that, well, we've had discussions with Frida from Faith Farms, that they'll come to one of our facilities and then just kind of do some interactive things with the kids, teaching them how to plant and the importance of the plants that we use and why we use them and all that good stuff. But that's all I have to report on Youth Services Bureau for now.
Okay.
We will be continuing, we'll be doing a search for a permanent solution, and Lori will assist in that transition as well. So I just want to say that this is not going to extend, into 2020. Yes, 2020, that shit. So it won't extend into 2020. But we just needed somebody to step in immediately who knew everything and could hit the ground running, and she certainly will.
All right.
I had a question. How
Sure.
effective is the summer work program been in assisting the park department?
There's no summer work program this year.
Oh, because I didn't hear you keep mentioning it. I was like, you don't have any youth to? Okay.
Yeah, WDS did not do as robust of a summer program as they usually do. And so they scaled back significantly because they used to do anywhere between 200 to 300. I don't want to give a number out that's not accurate, but it's nowhere near that.
Okay.
We're probably closer to 100 this year. And so they significantly reduced the amount. We had discussions about the city doing it. It was an effort I was supposed to be a part of, hoping to spearhead. But there weren't funds available for us to be able to do it. And so as a result, we weren't able to do any summer hiring.
So on the uptake of that, so now that we know that with most colleges and universities, volunteer services is important as well. Are we soliciting any youth participation, or I know that's something that they can work and get hours for, or
Yeah, we
volunteering?
we regularly get volunteers.
Okay.
Usually comes from the mayor's office of constituent services.
Okay.
And so yeah, they'll regularly send folks in our direction. Volunteers, we appreciate them, but it's nothing you can rely on. Yeah, because they don't really have much of an incentive unless there's a punitive reason why they're coming to you. But yeah, whenever we do get them, which we do get them regularly, they're assigned outside to assist with any park needs. That's it. I'm sorry. Great. It's back to me. All right. My report. So last time I gave a report, I did forget somebody, and I knew I would. But then we've had a few people that I wanted to thank as well. Almost 2 months ago, the U.S. Department of Forestry, volunteers from the U.S. Department of Forestry, the Nature Conservancy, Calumet Artists Residency, and the Student Conservation Association helped with the planting of 30 trees at Borman Square. And so not only are they planting, but SCA will come by regularly to do regular maintenance on them. Make sure that they're watered, make sure that they're growing straight, that they're not leaned over. So if you drive by Borman Park, you'll see a few of the trees that are being kind of pried up with some like metal bars or something, just to make sure that they grow healthy and that they are growing straight. So I wanted to thank them for their continued effort. On the 27th and 28th, the fire department and the fire department union, AFL-CIO, sent out a fleet of firemen and firewomen who came out and helped with Buffington Park, which is on 6th and Connecticut. They cut the splash pad. It was overgrown with invasive trees and invasive weeds. They significantly cut that. After they did that, Don came by to spray everything safely so we can kind of get rid of that stuff. So there's a good amount of visibility in the splash pad. The biggest thing that they really assisted with, two of the biggest things they really assisted with is stump removal. We had a bunch of dead trees that have been cut down, some of that have fallen down. And so they had a company, so one of the firemen on his off time has a tree service company that he operates. And so he brought some of his employees, some of his equipment out. He had a wood chipper on site. And so as things were being cut or removed, we were able to put it in the chipper, and he was able to disintegrate it and haul it away. And then the other thing that they assisted with, so Borman is probably another unappreciated park as far as its beauty is concerned. And one of the things that was occurring is that if you walk through the pathways, some of the tree limbs were hanging kind of low. Well, the firemen helped to trim those back, have them at an acceptable level, so now people can commute through the park regularly without any obstruction. They spruced up the monument, the World War II monument as well, put some new plants out there. It looks awesome. And then they assisted us with the playground area as well by putting some mulch in there. Interestingly enough, a few days after all of this was done, I drove by the park just to take a look, and it was completely activated as a result of it. I saw probably more kids that should have been on the playground equipment at one time, but it's better to have that than none at all. And so there were good 10 or 15 kids on the playground equipment. And so that was a good help. And so I really appreciate them coming out to assist with that, and some of the other firemen and firewomen have expressed an interest in doing this in other parks as well. The Peacemakers. So, was this Memorial Day weekend? Yeah, it was a Memorial Day weekend. The Peacemakers, who are a group of local pastors, did a 3-on-3 tournament, which we were unfortunately unable to do because it rained that day. And then just had a barbecue, bouncy houses. They had a video game trailer truck that they had for kids to enjoy at Tolliston Park. But one of the things I really want to thank them for is because we were gifted 2 backboards at Tolliston, which we had installed. But there was a gentleman named Bernard who came out and assisted us with the removal of them and the replacement of them. And there were a couple of areas that we had some problems. He was able to identify why we were having the issues with the goals themselves, and we were actually able to fix them on site. So he made the park and the goals safer for all those who are involved, so now we know what to do with them and how to address some of the issues, really more specifically the goal that fell down last year that we had to remove. We know what we have to do in order to put it back. And so I just want to thank Bernard and all of the people who came out and assisted. And again, they're another organization. While we were out there, they identified some things that they saw that they could really assist with. And so, we've got a lot of people who really care about the city and are willing to offer assistance whenever needed. And so, really appreciate the Peacemakers. And then the last set of folks is the Field Museum. A lot of people don't know the people from the Field Museum in Chicago are out here regularly, helping with the maintenance of a lot of our green spaces, some of them parks. But on the 29th, on the 29th, they had a butterfly garden workshop at Brunswick Pavilion. And it was really well attended by folks from inside of our community and from outside of our community. And so they brought plants that they gave away to folks. So anybody who attended was able to get plants that they could use and plant in their yards and their gardens. And then they also upgraded an area in our parking lot with a native garden area. They really beautified the area, and so really appreciate the Field Museum. Like I said, they're here all the time, and they'll be back again assisting with some other things. I want to talk briefly about weather advisories because there's been some confusions, and this is more specifically at the beach. We get the weather advisories usually from the Weather Channel or the National Weather. I forgot from what Christine gets them from. But oftentimes, when we close the beach, it's not because we are looking forward to restrict anybody's fun. If we're closing the beach, in all actuality, we're losing money. And so it really doesn't benefit us to close the beach. This past weekend, we had a weather advisory with high rip currents and then high waves, and we also had a small craft advisory. So basically it says nobody in jet skis, nobody in boats, nobody any kind of vessels, kites, all that stuff. And so we restricted access because ultimately we want everybody to be safe. And there were some people who didn't enjoy that, and I get that, but ultimately our responsibility is to make sure that people are safe at all times. And I'm going to speak on your behalf, but I'm sure you agree that that is one of our main functions. And none of us wants to get the phone call that unfortunately I got last year when the young lady went missing on one of those strong rip current days. I still don't know if they found the gentleman from South Bend who went missing in Michigan City, I think that was Friday. And they were doing exhaustive searches for him. And I haven't seen an update that said that they have found him yet. Those are the things that we wish to avoid. So if we're saying nobody in the water, it's for a good reason. It doesn't benefit us to not have people in the water.
The public should know that we will follow to the letter the advisories that are released by the National Weather Service. And so if that red flag goes up and it says that no swimming, nobody in the water, the craft advisory, we're going to follow what they advise to the letter. And it's for everybody's safety.
Including our staff.
Including our staff.
Including our staff. So yeah, it would be irresponsible to do otherwise.
Exactly.
So that's it on that. I had something on park rules, but I'm just gonna say that. I wanted to say about the buoys. The buoys are in, but I do want to say to people, because there are also misunderstanding about the buoys. People think the buoys are markers on how far you can and should go. The buoys really are just to designate the area, the swim area, and to make sure that boaters, jet skiers, all those folks don't come into that area. Christine and her staff always recommend that folks go no more than waist deep in the water. That doesn't mean the buoys are oftentimes at waist deep. For those of us who have had experience on the beach, you can be on one end, it can be waist deep, and be in the same vicinity, a few hundred feet away, it can be eye level deep. And so we're advising people to stay waist level deep at all times, and to not necessarily use the buoys as the point where you should go out to. Please take heed to that. The buoys are not there as a marker for how far you should or shouldn't go. It's to separate the swimming area from the boating area. And we talked about shoreline cleanup already in the commission's report. If you all don't mind, I'd like to yield a couple of minutes to Gary Community Partnership, who has adopted Reese Park at the last meeting. They have some things that they have already done to the park that have improved the Reese Park itself. Reese Park is at 5th and Johnson, one block east of the McDonald's on Grant Street. And so Jeff Daniels and Lisa are here, and so if I could just give a minute for them to give a presentation.
Good morning.
You can get that to me. You sent those to me already.
Okay, so my name is Jeffrey Edwards, and it's all right. Jeffrey Edwards, and as Nick Daniel said, I'm with Gary Community Partnership, and we adopted Fifth Avenue Park as part of the Love Your Block program. So we've been doing quite a bit of work in the area, in the community, and really, our effort for the park is to bring the community together. Right now, the park, it serves a purpose for teenagers, and they're playing in the park doing, they play on the basketball court. The court is in a bit of disrepair, but it still serves as a place for them to gather. They're still playing basketball, so it has its purpose. We want to further that, and we want to make it purposeful for children. So right now, there's no place for kids to play. I mean, they'll play in front of their house, they'll play, wherever they can, but there's no place in the community for the young kids to play. We've taken that playground and we've repurposed it, and I gave you guys some photos of that. So the playground, as it was in its original condition a couple weeks ago, it just wasn't functional. Like, there was no place for the kids to play on it, and as a matter of fact, the slide itself was a bit hazardous. So we took that playground apart, and we took the wood from that playground and we're repurposing it for benches. So we've created our first kind of do-it-yourself bench that you have before you, and we're going to, number one, give people who want to come in the park a place to sit. Right now, there's like one bench in the far end of the park and one bench that's near the street. We've created this L-shaped bench that we would like to sit near the playground once it gets re-implemented, once it gets purchased and installed. And we want to also take some more of that wood and create similar benches for the actual basketball court. So we have an issue where young folks are taking the trash cans and turning them over for benches. They want to sit down. So regardless of the purpose of the trash can, the immediate purpose for young people is for it to be useful for them to sit down with. And we've cleaned this park many, many times. I mean, I've been doing it for the past couple of years, and I've talked with the young folks, and everybody blames everybody. But at the end of the day, there's a need that's not being met, and so what we want to do is meet that need, and that need is for benches. So rather than even bother, asking for finances to do this, we've taken the resources that we have and we're repurposing those. So this playground, as it wasn't functional. We've taken it, and now we're going to create benches that can be used similar to that. It's a different setup, obviously. It can't be an L shape, but it'll be purposeful and functional for kids to sit down when they're waiting to play for a game. If they're tired or whatever, they won't have to sit on the ground. We also want to create some additional benches throughout the park with the same wood. And what we were thinking is that we could have some of the alumni. So as I understand it, Gary has all of these different alumni from the different schools. I know in our district it's Horace Mann, Roosevelt, Lew Wallace. We want to show them kind of what we've done with this do-it-yourself project, and we're looking for different organizations to purchase a bench that will be dedicated basically to that organization. So for instance, this one right here, one of the members of our team is from the Horace Mann High School. And we've already painted it the Horace Mann color, and we're going to purchase a plaque for it. And that plaque is going to say that this bench is dedicated to Horace Mann alumni and that they participated in this Love Your Block program. But it gets buy-in from these different organizations, and they don't necessarily have to come out and help put it together, but we would love if they did. But the idea is that they've invested in the community, and that's what we're looking for them to do, is to reinvest in this neighborhood, because a park, as an amenity, it can bring a community together. Parents are going to come to the park if they have children that want to play. They need a place to sit. So we've already said, okay, I know we need a place to sit. We've recreated, we're going to use these benches. As we create new benches as part of this Love Your Block project, it'll just give more area for people to use recreationally. Now, I've listed 5 things on here that we'd like to look at doing. One is the flower beds. Right now, there's one flower bed that needs to be maintained. We wanted to add 2 additional flower beds. So we've received 2 grants from the whole Love Your Block program. One of the grants is for maintaining the neighborhood. So we also, in addition to this parks project, we also maintain unoccupied properties in the area. So we go out every other week, we cut unoccupied properties. We make sure that the area is nice, regardless of who owns, if it's actually for unoccupied. So it can't be that you live in the house and you just have to cut your grass. It's that it's unoccupied. And for the most part, we've gotten good success. We have neighbors who come out and they then further partner with us once we cut that grass, and they're like, hey, I didn't know you guys existed, but we talk about who we are, what we're doing in the community. And it gains greater constituency, right? So we're looking to bring people on board to help us do these different things. And this Love Your Block grant that we got, we were able to purchase some lawnmowers with it. We got a lawnmower, a weed whacker, and some other materials. So for this park program, we're purchasing flowers, and we also have some other things that we're looking to do in the park with the resources. And it's not a fund, it's a resource grant. So they buy the resources, we use the resources to beautify the park. But there are some things in the park that this grant just isn't gonna cover. And what we're doing is we are working with different organizations. So right now, we have 2 organizations who we are talking with and speaking with and asking if they can join in with us. And they have given some level of commitment to help us. But they want to understand kind of, what level are we going to support? How is this going to impact the community? And that's where this sheet comes in, and that's what I have before you today. So just at a high level, as I said, the flower bed placement, the basketball court rehab, the playground replacement, park bench placement, and walking path. So there are 2 walking paths in the park, but there's so much overgrowth on it, you just wouldn't know, right? So we have an idea, and again, we're going after additional organizations to help us with this, because there's nothing that we ourselves can. This isn't a do-it-yourself project, unfortunately. We just can't DIY this walking path. It needs to be someone who's professional who can do it. So we're soliciting, as I said, organizations to come in with us. Since we're a 501c3, we have the means, the means from a legal stance for organizations to help us, and it's a legal write-off, and we go through all of that. So we have some commitments, we have some buy-in. We're trying to gain greater awareness of what we're doing. And I think, coming out here speaking to you guys helps to that as well. But I wanted to make sure, number one, for some activities that we have coming up, specifically this weekend, that there are no concerns or no issues. And that is, the first thing is placing that bench in the park. That's kind of our first thing to get awareness. So we want people to be able to see it, to be able to use it. When we do that, we're gonna have a celebration where we actually go and we have sign up where people have an opportunity. We'll talk to them about who we are, what we're doing, and we'd like to also talk with the youth at that time, because they're the ones who are gonna be in this, they play basketball, and we want to create benches for the basketball court, but we want them to help us, right? Because part of the problem is, everything isn't just because it's wear and tear. Some things are done because people are doing them. So we want to get some buy-in from these young people to make sure, hey, this is your part. We need you to make sure that it's maintained. And to do that, we want them to help us build these benches. So I built these benches along with some other folks on our team, just a proof of concept, make sure it can be done. Now that we know it's doable, we can preset everything we need to do. So we can have the wood prepped. The only thing we need to do is have the people, the young folks come, help us put this stuff together, and then set it up. And they can say that they were part of this rehabilitation project. And it gives them ownership, right? If you do something, you're more apt to respect it as opposed to somebody giving it to you. So that's what we're hoping that we can do this weekend when we go out and we celebrate, this first effort.
Okay.
So, yeah, it was just, I encouraged Jeff to come to today's meeting, to give him a list of things that we wanted to do to help with the improvement of the park, and to get your approval, so they can move forward and assist with that.
Okay, this is one of the most well thought out, in-depth of Adopt a Park that has actually come our way. And so I'm more than impressed with the effort that went in here.
Thank you.
We want to work as closely with you as we possibly can, that this effort be a success, because the way you've gone about it has the possibility of becoming a pilot for the city and the community in general. we would do more if we had more to do things with. And recognizing our financial challenges has not stopped you or even put you off in trying to make some things happen. I would simply say that do we need to vote on this? Or what do we?
Yeah, I think we need approval for them to do those improvements.
Okay.
So yeah, we need board approval for that.
Okay, then I will entertain a motion that we would approve the Love Your Block, not only adoption, but the presentation of intended improvements to the park as presented.
So moved.
Roll call?
Commissioner Juanita Jackson. Commissioner Renee Patterson.
Yes.
Commissioner President Dwight Gardner.
Yes, and my only final is that, comment is that you stay in touch with Superintendent.
Absolutely,
So say, here is, you know, if there's, is there a problem with one thing or another, or can I get you to come out and take a look at something before we proceed, or here is the plan, so now that we have adopted the program, it's a phone call and communication that will help. But on behalf of the park board, I thank you for your efforts.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thanks, Jeff. So going back, we have a claims list. I do want to say this. So Dolly, who just joined us, will actually be leaving her role as administrative assistant to the parks, but she's not going too far. As a matter of fact, she's not even switching offices, I don't think. She'll now be our fiscal manager, so she'll be filling that role in.
Congratulations.
And so, I want to thank Dolly for working tirelessly and religiously, kind of filling in both roles, until we were able to fill this one out. And so, soon she'll just have one job that she could focus on. But she just brought us the claims list that needs your review and or approval.
Okay. Any questions from board members? Then I'll entertain a motion that we would approve or ratify the claims as presented for the date of July 10th, 2019.
So moved.
If I could, Reverend Gardner, you'll notice let's see, under Parks Fund 250 for our insurance, there's a payment. I wanted to clarify this because on a prior claims list, this was on there as well. There was a mistake made, and so that money that was on the prior claims list was credited back to us. And then this is the correct payment. So I'm not sure which, it might have been a couple of months ago, and I'll have to give you the exact details at the next one. But I just didn't want there to be any confusion about two payments.
Okay.
They actually credited, the finance department credited us back the money, and now this is the correct payment.
This is the correct
This is the correct
payment.
Yes, and this
Is that
covers,
yearly?
this is, this covers all of our properties,
I see.
pavilions. Yes.
Okay.
There's an additional one that we have to do. I think it's about $4,000. It covers our pools and splash pads. So that's not included in this one, but this covers all of our pools.
Okay.
So where are we, I just was wondering where we were on this list. What number are we on?
We're down to the bottom.
Oh, because,
We just finished the superintendent's report.
oh, no, I thought we were, good morning. My name is Terry Pruitt.
Okay, one second, because there's a
Yeah.
motion on the board.
Oh, I'm
Put a motion on the
sorry.
floor.
Yeah, I wanted to.
We get to that part.
That's.
Oh, okay.
Good. All right.
That's okay.
Sorry.
All right, previous motion, roll call.
Commissioner Juanita Jackson? Yes. Commissioner Renee Patterson?
Yes.
Commissioner President Dwight Gardner?
Yes. All right, we make time for public comment.
We have Terry Pruitt.
Okay.
Yes, hi. Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Terry Pruitt. I'm a resident. I live close to Marquette Park, and there's been a problem with the wild animals, getting hit and killed. So I bought a couple of signs. That woodsy area that's to the right, of the Marquette Park statue, it doesn't have any wildlife signs. So I bought a couple. I think I sent it to Mr. George, and I'd like your approval for just installing. I'm working with Friends of Marquette Park, and also the guy who installed the children crossing signs, Bob, he's going to install the signs that I have. It's if provided I receive permission. So I just wanted to come, and it's only a couple. One is wildlife crossing in that woodsy area, and also right by the beginning of the lagoon, the ducks cross there, so I have a duck crossing sign for that. I already had received permission for the turtles. It's like the rains has caused the area underneath where they have a passageway to cross. It's filled it up, so they have to come to higher ground, so they're crossing on County Line Road. And the head ranger always, he said he's constantly, trying to guide the turtles across the road, and a lot of them are ending up being killed. So I bought signs, so I have signs for County Line Road too. So just the Marquette Park is what I was.
Okay, Superintendent,
I have seen them.
You've seen them, they
Yeah.
match what we do,
They
they
do.
work.
They do.
Then, I don't think we need a vote in order to do that.
No.
We do? Okay. And who's gonna put the signs up, or?
Bob.
Bob Ferry.
Yeah, he's right at Lakeshore Drive in St. Joseph.
Bob Ferry.
Bob, okay, all right, we know Bob.
Yeah, be right, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Then I'll entertain a motion that we would approve the donated wildlife signs to go up in Market Park.
So moved.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Roll call?
Commissioner Juanita Jackson?
Yes.
Commissioner Renee Patterson?
Yes.
Commissioner President Dwight Gardner?
Yes.
And thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else?
Jeffrey Edwards spoke already, and Lisa Clement? She was with you. That's it, okay.
My friend is here, he's a regular attendee.
No, thank you.
You good? All right, well, thank you for coming, though. I really appreciate your presence.
I thought you were gonna do a presentation.
All right, then I'll entertain a motion that, our meeting be adjourned.
So moved.
Meeting is adjourned.